From the Oklahoma newsroom, this is an OU update. I'm Jenny Carlson. Stephen Parker continues his rise as a Sooner, and Ryan Aber joins us on the phone to talk about that. Ryan, it was definitely a struggle at times last year for Parker in that secondary. Was definitely struggling from time to time, criticized often, but last week he makes a huge play. Just talk about his evolution in the secondary for the Sooners.
Yeah, he's been fantastic for OU this year, and it's really made a difference in what they're doing pass protection-wise. Last year, he was a guy that was thrown out there almost out of necessity, but you could see a lot of the raw skills that would make him good in the future. He just had breakdowns from time to time, and he's turned into be one of the most consistent defensive backs that they've had. I'd probably put him right up there with Jordan Thomas as far as being consistent, and made a play the other night that, as of now, saved the Sooners season. So he's certainly in the spotlight entering Saturday's Bedlam game.
Well, you mentioned Bedlam. Let's talk a little bit about that, because obviously, the Cowboys have a wide receiver core that's probably as good as any in the Big 12, and that's been an area where the Sooners have had their struggles, maybe not as much of late, but you saw TCU exploit them from time to time this last week. Just how much of a pressure point is that secondary and Stephen Parker come Saturday in Bedlam?
Yeah, it's going to be huge Saturday. They have been really good overall. They had some breakdowns against TCU, especially in the second half. They had a few breakdowns, or a lot of breakdowns, early in the season against Tulsa. And OSU's receiver core is about as deep as any they've seen, maybe with the exception of Baylor, which was probably their best game of the year as a whole on the back end of OU's defense. So they're going to have guys like Stephen Parker, Jordan Thomas, who both those guys have made plays most of the year, and Zach Sanchez, who's sort of been a boom or bust guy, has a tendency to go for the interception but can get burned a little bit downfield. Those guys are going to have to make a lot of plays on Saturday for OU to come out with a win.
Definitely want to check out Ryan's story on Stephen Parker in the Wednesday Oklahoman and on News OK. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.